Okay, great. Welcome, everybody.
Okay, good. Well, this is our third class. Oh, I welcome you all to this third class on establishing and sustaining a meditation practice. So I hope that it brings some benefit. I thank you to Sheila and Shanti Deva Center for providing the opportunity for us to come together to study and practice. So let's begin by rejoicing, in our good fortune, and let our hearts be glad. Always good to put a little smile on the face and just remember how rare and precious it is to have an opportunity like this and to motivate to use it to actualize our full enlightenment, our highest human potential. And to do so, we set our intention. We set our intention to train our mind, to increase our understanding of reality in order to bring greater joy into our lives and to those around us. Meditation opens us to the world of our mind. It's really the key to creating a reality that is happier, healthier, more peaceful, and more satisfying. We don't have to take it on faith. We can actually see when mind, with its exceptional power, is captured by greed or anger. With ignorant self-obsession, it sets about destroying our happiness and the happiness of those around us. It leads us to say and do things that hurt others, which inevitably brings down a rain of suffering and miserable experiences on us. And it's very important for us to remember that an action is not an isolated event, because at the same time, it establishes patterns of behavior that recur almost endlessly without much hope of control. But we should not despair, because on the flip side of that same continuum of mind is capable of the greatest and most far-reaching love that is completely free of anger, free of attachment, and free of self-grasping ignorance. A mind that is fused with wisdom and compassion becomes an unstoppable wellspring of happiness, peace, and contentment. Using meditation for both learning about mind and transforming mind is the golden key, opening all the doors to enlightenment. As we train our mind, slowly, what we have learned about dependent arising and emptiness begins to take on real meaning. We have an aha moment. Oh, it is like that. It is exactly like that, just as the Buddha said. We have three things. We have naked awareness, within which everything arises. This is the canvas where mental formations appear. And then we have the content, the thoughts, emotions, moods, intentions, memories, concepts, ideas, fantasies, fears, the whole realm of mental activity. And then we have our very own triple gem, the sense of I, me, and mine. I am this. This is me. These are mine. As we work with our mind, these get transformed. They become more and more essenceless, more and more transparent. We begin to see through the veil. The canvas of our awareness, the space in which things arise, becomes more and more subtle, more and more open. more and more blissful. And this pure, spacious, open mind, like the sky, is here in every moment. The content also transforms. The positive begins to arise more and more, and the negative arises less and less. The nature of the content transforms too. They become less solid, and they don't affect the blissful quality of our awareness. And finally, the solid sense of I transforms from being an I, somewhere inside, the one to whom these thoughts belong. That sense of I vanishes. And the I becomes a mere imputation, a mere label on a stream of awareness and its contents. Recognizing it as an interdependent phenomena, we see through self-grasping ignorance. We step off the wheel. Master Shantideva said, the mind that sees the emptiness of the mind is nirvana. The I becomes a mere label on the body and mind, which is constantly changing. We don't disappear. We exist more alive than ever. We wake up to our life. Our consciousness is whatever we're experiencing in the moment. Whenever we focus our attention on something, it dominates our conscious experience. At the same time, we can be more generally aware of things in the background, in peripheral awareness. I mentioned this before, right? Focused attention and peripheral awareness. In meditation, we're working with both to cultivate stable attention and mindfulness. And with that, we program our actions, our words, our thoughts to create a beautiful world. We train our mind. Understanding how it works is really helpful. Stable attention is our ability to intentionally direct and sustain the focus of attention and to control the scope of attention. We choose which object to attend to and keep our attention continuously focused on, right? We choose that object. For many of us, everyday life is a combination of distraction and hectic multitasking. Having focused, sustained, and selective attention is a much more peaceful and engaging way of experiencing the world. Generally speaking, our attention moves spontaneously. Scanning, getting captured, alternating. Spontaneously, in other words, without any direction, just spontaneously moving. Scanning is when our focus moves from object to object, searching for something of interest, right? Searching for something of interest, never pausing. Getting captured happens when an object like a thought or a sensation suddenly captures our attention. And alternating attention is a subtler, more scattered attention, actually only apparent to a meditator. Everyone's attention alternates, whether you're a meditator or not. But there's an illusion of paying attention to two or more things simultaneously. It's like It's like glancing at our phone while having a conversation with a friend. Our attention is moving so fast, there doesn't seem to be a break in our attention. There doesn't seem to be any break, but in fact, there is a break. Unless we're purposely multitasking, like moving through a sadhana, for instance, alternating attention is a kind of spontaneous movement of attention, and it's undirected. That means a certain amount of distraction is present. During meditation training, intentional movements of attention, like moving through our sadhana, will eventually replace spontaneous movements of attention. Let me say that again. Intentional movements of attention, intentionally moving through a sadhana, for instance, will eventually replace spontaneous movements of attention. This progress gradually unfolds systematically through the stages of meditation. So, for example, when we have memorized the words of a sadhana, like the Guru Yoga that we've practiced together, while chanting the prayers, there's a mental video that's playing in the forefront of our focused attention. The Guru appears before us and we take refuge and we generate bodhicitta. We recite the four immeasurables. We list through the stages of the path. We practice the 7 limbs. So this is with focused attention, moving through the sadhana. Okay, so we're moving through the sadhana. This mental video is playing at the forefront of our focused attention. And when we notice our attention has followed a door slamming, we bring it right back. That's how we progress through intentional movements of attention. We grow our concentration while practicing a sadhana. Years ago, I remember hearing that Ten Rinpoche, Geshe Losang Tarchen, asked Trijang Rinpoche, how could a practitioner ever cultivate concentration during sadhana practice with so much movement? And Trijang Rinpoche said, the sadhana is one object. And this is worthwhile to understand. To my mind, Trijang Rinpoche's advice was priceless. So with intentional movements of attention, we sustain attention continuously on the video. You see, when I thought also about a gymnast, for instance, someone going through a gymnastic program for the Olympics, there's a lot of movement, continuously focused. Intentionally directed attention means that we make a conscious decision about what to pay attention to. And after directing our attention to perhaps the breath, we may soon find that our attention has wandered off. So we have to learn how to sustain attention. This means we want to stop all spontaneous movement of attention, that scanning and getting captured. Sustaining attention is trickier than directed attention. It's not too difficult to voluntarily direct our attention. That's the first stage of the 9 stages of meditation, placing the mind on the object. However, and this next piece of information was an eye-opener to me as I was studying. The part of the mind that sustains attention for more than just a few moments works entirely unconsciously. It must be trained. Wow, it has to be trained. Sustained attention has to be trained. We can't use our will to control how long we remain focused on one thing. Instead, there's this unconscious process weighing the importance of what we're focusing on against other possible objects of attention. Think about that. How this works is really fascinating. And understanding this highlights the importance of training the mind to come back to the object again and again and again. If an object is important enough or interesting enough, attention remains stable. But if something else is judged more important or interesting, then attention moves elsewhere. We may think, oh, is hopeless. And no. The important part is that we can still influence our conscious control through consciously held intentions. See, intentions over and over again, we're told, set your intention, set your intention. Consciously held intentions, just by intending to observe an object and to come back whenever we get distracted, we are training that unconscious process to help us stay focused more continuously. We're informing this unconscious process that this object is important. This object is more important than anything else that comes into peripheral awareness. Any information that's held in consciousness is communicated to the unconscious if it's held. This is interesting to me. I remember reading Rick Hanson's book, Buddha's Brain, that neuroscientists are beginning to understand how this process works. I think I mentioned this before, that intentionally holding a thought in the mind creates a new neural pathway or deepens one we've already created. The implication is that the more we perform an action, the more we will perform an action. This is how karma works, isn't it? This is how we're taught karma works. According to science, holding a thought for 20 seconds creates a new pathway or deepens one we have already created. And this, in my mind, reinforces the Master Tilopa's advice to Naropa, where he said, view the mind as having no thought other than repetition. What do we repeat? What do we repeat? What keeps coming? What keeps coming is what we repeat. And William James also said, and I know I've mentioned this, that to which we attend in the moment becomes our reality. Aristotle said something similar. That to which we attend in the moment becomes our reality. What we repeat becomes our reality. These are really interesting to keep in mind because they reinforce our intention to increase our capacity to sustain our attention. Why? Why do we want to sustain it? Why do we want it to drop into unconscious awareness? Because we want to engage in more happy making, right? We want to do that spontaneously and ongoingly, to train the mind so that what appears before it is joyful. So simple. That's what Lady Naguma said, Master Naropa's partner. She said, it's so obvious we don't see it. So simple we don't believe it. So easy we don't trust it. Just by intending to observe an object and to come back whenever we get distracted, we're training that unconscious process to help us stay focused more continuously. This is important. We're training the unconscious process using intention and repetition. It's really quite fascinating when you think about the training that the Buddha gave to his disciples so many years ago, and you think about the training of the Tibetan Buddhist practices and all the meditation practices of all the lineages deriving from Buddhist teachings. It's about intention and repetition. When we formulate a conscious intention to focus on the meditation object, this provides information for the unconscious process to consider. Holding this intention, together with returning our attention to the breath over and over whenever we get distracted, informs the unconscious weighing process that this is important, which then keeps the attention focused more readily on our object. This knowledge reinforces the importance of continuously returning, not foofing off, not spacing out, not thinking, oh, set the timer and then, dive in, but being so present and coming back again and again. Throughout the stages of meditation, with various practices, various meditation practices, we use conscious intention to train the unconscious mind in so many different ways. With the correct use of intention, we can transform bad habits and we can undo wrong views and we can cultivate healthier perspectives. Skillfully applying conscious intention can completely restructure the mind. It can completely transform who we are. This is the very essence of meditation. We reprogram unconscious mental processes by repeating basic tasks over and over with clear intention. And the supreme purpose of meditation is to completely and permanently eliminate all mental afflictions and allow that pure mind to gain enlightenment. It's so beautiful to think about how this works because it gives me kind of a foundation of how to go about it, to feel confident again and again coming back, and then to see the benefit of doing that, to see how the mind remains more and more stable on the object. Even our everyday tasks are more pleasant with focused attention. And then we can apply Lama Zopa Rinpoche's multitude of bodhicitta mindfulness practices, opening the door to enlightenment, closing the door to samsara, washing the dishes and removing all mental afflictions from oneself and others, brushing the teeth and removing our obscurations, so many ways that we can think of. If it is our intention to attain enlightenment, removing all the mental afflictions, and we hold that intention, training the unconscious to hold that intention, then it pops more readily throughout our day. Very interesting. So shall we meditate? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. So if we can find a good seat, establishing the 7-point posture, sitting well, sitting fully. In our meditation, we repeatedly train both our physical and mental posture. We establish and maintain a balance between vigilance and relaxation, between movement and stillness. When the mind is sleepy and dull, then encouraging vigilance, this posture of dignity. And when the mind is more agitated and active, then more and more relaxation, more and more subduing. So motivated by a wish to bring perfect peace and happiness to ourselves and others, we set a strong intention to remain attentionally focused throughout this meditation. Cultivating a strong intention just now to remain presently attentive, remembering that this beautiful, spacious, pure mind like the sky is always present. And our breath is always available as an anchor to the present moment. I invite you to turn your attention inward, bringing your awareness to your crown, feeling it there. And with the flow of gentle, warm, attentive energy, we begin to offer relaxation to the whole body. We soften the facial muscles, attending to the brow and around the eyes. Letting our jaw relax. Following a deep inhale, let it all go on the exhale. As the muscles relax, notice how it feels, how the mood is affected. Into your neck and following the flow down your arms. All the way to your fingertips. Your hands resting gently in your lap. Letting tension dissolve. Then coming to the trunk of the body, feel the sensations of the chest. Allow it to open a little more. Shoulders drawn back just a little. Allowing the breath to flow a little more easily. Follow the gentle, warm flow down to the belly. Let it soften and spread. Let it receive the full breath. Consciously notice any change, any effect on the mood. Flowing down through the hip joints. Releasing any tightness in the glutes. Feel a wave of relaxation flowing down through the legs, the thighs, knees, past the ankles, to the soles of the feet and the tips of the toes. Let warm, loving attention soak down and fill every cell. Let the whole body be perfectly at ease and settled. Feel the presence of the whole body, the places where it touches the seat. Let Mother Earth hold you with a sense of being grounded, stable, safe, and at ease. Training the mind to attend to the present. Feel the body breathing according to its own rhythm, without force or impedance, without preference for long or short. I hope you're still deeply in meditation. I went off into the internet somewhere, allowing our body to be fully attending to the breath and noticing the sensation at the tip of the nose changing. Let that sensation be the focal point of your attention. Make a strong determination. I will lay all concepts gently aside and place all my interest in the simple rhythm of my own breathing. Let the attention settle on the sensation of the breath, that rhythm, gently but firmly and with ease. Each moment, just the breath. recognizing a distraction, come back to the feeling of the breath again. Glad to begin again. And we will sit now in silence for 10 minutes. If counting is useful, counting from 1 to 10, a full breath, a full cycle, inhaling and exhaling as one. Noticing when the breath turns. as we attend to the breath or any object of meditation, remaining one-pointedly, focused attention on the object. There is a little one corner of the mind, a mindfulness fish, as Lama Yeshe used to call it, that is recognizing if our posture has collapsed, that begins to recognize the thoughts as they are forming. I find it's useful to smile, to be glad that there's nothing to do or undo in this moment, resting in peaceful awareness, the mind attentive and alert, open, not grasping onto anything, just attending to the beautiful movement of the breath. So peaceful. So as we come back into our body, we'll think about taking a little break and then come back for our Guru Yoga practice. But I wanted to ask if anyone has any observations or questions, comments, anything you want to share, or how's it going? How's your meditation? Is it helpful to come together and practice together? Yeah. Does it inform your week, your meditation during the week? Do you recall, do you settle in? So many times in my life, I've said, oh yes, I must go meditate. I have these practices that I must do, So, so many times sitting down without the preparation of actually settling into the present moment, this beautiful state of relaxed, momentary present awareness and attending to focused attention on the breath prior to any practice, regardless of what it is, for at least 10 cycles, really relaxing. It is possible to relax the body pretty quickly once you become very familiar with it. You set your intention as you sit down, attending to this focused awareness, setting the intention. Lama Yeshe used to say, strong determination. We have to be intending to do it, not just to get through it, not just to hurry up and count. If I count faster, maybe the meditation will be over faster. So it's useful to pay attention to what's going on in our mind as we are practicing. How are we? When we see that there's a lot of peripheral action going on, and we really double down on attending to that sensation and think, oh, there's nothing more important than this right now. Isn't this amazing? The body just breathes. How wonderful. Allow that gratitude to come for oneself too, to get this idea of relaxation. It's a gift, it's a gift that we give to ourselves instead of what we often do, gotta get her done, my brother says. Get her done, gonna get her done. No, we're gonna be present in the moment, even if you have just a short period of time to practice. Let that short period of time be worthwhile to really engage in the practice as a gift to oneself, to grow one's awareness, our mindfulness, so that our actions are becoming more and more and more beneficial for ourselves and for others. Yeah. More happy making, more joyful. That's what we're doing. More happy making. Let's take a 5-minute break or 3-minute break and come back so we
Elaine,
can.
there's one question. Do you
Oh,
want to take the question first?
please.
Mary
Yes.
LaRosa, go
Yes.
for it.
Please go.
Hi, it's not a question. I wanted to make a comment and share a quirky habit that I've gotten into. My mind does tend to wander a lot. And when I'm trying to focus on my breath and it's wandering, if I wouldn't say pretend because it starts out pretend, but then I feel like I'm really doing it. When I focus on rounds of breathing through one nostril or the other, but not holding my nostrils, my all of a sudden my attention is so focused on my breath because it's like I'm making my mind kick into where I am supposed to be focusing, if that makes any sense. Anyway, it's just like a silly little hack, but it works for me.
It's absolutely it's a perfect practice. It's a perfect practice. You know, it's like 9-round breathing where you breathe in through the right nostril and out.
Yes, exactly. Only I'm not holding my nostril.
No,
And
yeah, I don't hold my nostril either. You just focus that you're watching it. You see it go. Yes, absolutely. It's a very good practice. Very good.
thank you for confirming that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shall we take just a little break? And when we come back, if you have a question, happy to take it. Great. Anybody think of any question while we were running around in our break? Where we were moving very slowly and mindfully in our break? Okay. Yeah, good. So this, as we begin doing the Guru Yoga practice, if we can really do our best to remain present, you see, remain present with the process. Like Trijang Rinpoche says, the sadhana is one object. So seeing it as a flow, like a video, right? And being present with it as it goes. See the energy. What happens in the mind when we, for instance, surround ourselves by all the sentient beings? We welcome them here beside us, you know. How does the mind feel? What happens when our guru appears before us as Shakyamuni Buddha? Looking, you know, watching what's happening in the mind. If we're attending to what's happening in the mind, we're having a good opportunity to actually be influenced by the practice, for it to actually change our mind, for it to actually really benefit, really benefit. So as much as possible, we try to stay present when we're engaging in any practice, any practice. So let's find our meditation seat. And allow the energy to settle. Reaffirming our intention to be the best we can be, to open our hearts. And in the process of inviting the enlightened energy into us, we're transforming this idea of the self-pity mind, as Lama said, banish it from the universe. Banish it. We're receiving the blessings from all the holy beings. So, as we settle into our meditation seat, take a good seat, sitting fully. We imagine that our Guru appears before us as Shakyamuni Buddha. Don't think that you have to have this perfect visualization. It's a feeling. Refuge is a feeling. It's a surrender to enlightened body, speech, and mind. And it's a feeling that your Lama has come to you and is taking the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha. So good enough, dear, as Lama Yeshe would say. So imagine that our Guru appears before us in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha, seated upon a beautiful jeweled throne. His body is golden in color and adorned with robes of heavenly silks. He is smiling lovingly at you. And now surround yourself, thinking, I long to free every single living being from the ocean of suffering. I'm going to lead them in this practice. And you bring them here, feeling the presence of your mom on your left and your dad on your right, your friends and family and colleagues behind you, thinking of them. And the troublemakers in our life in front of us, thinking just like me, they long for happiness and freedom from suffering too. And then fill all of space with all the sentient beings of the 6 realms, those who have terrible suffering from realms, manifesting in human form, but having their own particular sufferings, the hell beings with their angry, hate-filled minds, the hungry ghosts with their poverty mentality, the animals full of fear and stupidity, all the human beings with their restless desire, the demigods with their jealous minds, and the gods, totally self-absorbed. Just fill all of space with every living being. And then lead them in refuge and bodhicitta. I go for refuge until enlightenment to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my virtuous actions of giving and so on, may I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. I go for refuge until enlightenment to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my virtuous actions of giving and so on, may I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. I go for refuge until enlightenment to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. By my virtuous actions of giving and so on, may I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. May all beings have equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings find good rebirths and the bliss of liberation. and think, I will help us to have these. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. I prostrate with body, speech, and mind. I make each and every offering. I confess my mistaken karma and rejoice in every virtuous deed. Please, Buddha, stay until samsara ends. Teach Dharma to every sentient being. I dedicate to great enlightenment. And then we make this request to receive the blessings, to actualize the full path to enlightenment. May I be inspired by Guru devotion, uplifted by the preciousness of this human life, shed the fetters of attachment and aversion through a knowledge of impermanence, be protected by refuge, guided by a knowledge of actions and their results, aim for liberation through renunciation. May I be motivated by bodhicitta, opened by giving, disciplined by ethical behavior, strengthened by patience, enthused by joyous effort, stabilized by concentration, and freed by wisdom. And then we offer a beautiful world, everything beautiful that we can think of, we offer in the form of a mandala. Oh, this ground scented with perfume and covered with flowers, adorned by Mount Meru, 4 worlds, sun and moon, I imagine as a Buddha land, and then offer it. May all beings enjoy this pure land. I send this jeweled mandala to you, my precious Guru. So imagine that your Lama, Shakyamuni Buddha, is pleased to receive your prayers and your offerings. And as we recite his mantra, then light rays radiate from his heart and enter our heart, purifying all our obscurations and granting us the blessings that we have requested. Taya Tao Muni Muni Maha Munai So Taya Tao Muni Muni Maha Munai So Taya Tao Muni Muni Maha Munai Soha. 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 Taya Om Muni Muni Mahamunai Soham. When we see our Lama Shakyamuni Buddha smiling lovingly at us, and we make this request. Oh, magnificent and precious root guru, please abide on the lotus and moon seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and stay with me always until I achieve enlightenment. So gather all of your powers of concentration as your Lama accepts your request, melts into a small sphere of light, which comes to your crown. And slowly begins to descend down through the center of your body until it comes to rest at the level of your heart, merging with your own mind. This light is in the nature of love. And as we inhale, we allow that light to become energized. And as we exhale, we experience this warm, gentle, loving light expanding. Inhaling, it is energized. Exhaling, it expands. Until from head to toe we're filled. Our whole body, every cell, filled with the light of love. And we know we are loved. How wonderful. Continuing to energize on the inhale and expand on the exhale. Experience it passing through your pores. This delightful light of love, creating an aura of light around you. And recognize that it is your nature to love. As we inhale, energizing it, exhaling it, it continues to expand. It fills the room. It goes beyond the room to fill the house. Every being it touches feels this love. As we inhale, we keep energizing. And as we exhale, we continue to expand. Out into the city. Think of beings to touch. The homeless man that sits on the corner. May you be well and happy. May you realize your full potential. The teller at the bank. The clerk in the grocery store. Anyone you encounter. Think, may you be well and happy. May you realize your full potential. Going into the hospitals, the caregivers, the families of those who are ill. Let your love expand to fill the whole country. Let it go out into the whole world, to the seats of government. May they be well and happy, realizing their full potential. May they govern with enlightened politics. Wherever there is war, may you be well. May you be happy. May you fulfill your highest potential. Wherever there are natural disasters, famine, earthquakes, fires, all of you, may you be well. May you realize your full potential. Allowing this awareness to touch all those who surround you, going out into the universe. Into the multiplicity of universes. Let your loving awareness expand to the infinitude of space. Even those who phone you, give them love, especially those all the beings, everywhere. Let your awareness expand. Let it touch them all. And then as you gradually allow it to contract back, let all concepts dissolve. Like breath on a mirror, it comes back into the house, into the room, into your body, everything dissolving until it becomes a very small sphere of light at the center of your heart. Penetrating it there, we watch until it becomes imperceivable. And we recognize this vast, spacious, empty, luminous, naked awareness filled with compassion and love. How wonderful. Just rest there in your true home. Let appearances appear as nothing but the play of mind. Like waves upon the ocean, they rise and they fall. With no object to focus upon, the natural mind is clear. And as the compassionate thought arises to benefit sentient beings, we manifest as bodhisattvas, enlightenment warriors, to be of the greatest benefit to everyone we meet. And then we dedicate this positive energy that we have created to be able to actualize this whole path quicker than quick, as Lama Zopa Rinpoche would say, without delay of even 1 second. So let's dedicate. By merit of this virtue, may I become Buddha and lead all beings, everyone, into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow, and may that born not decline, but increase more and more. And then dedicating to the long lives of His Holiness and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then all of our lamas. In the snowy mountain paradise, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig, please remain until samsara ends. Great upholder of the moral way, the bountiful bearer of all good, sustaining and spreading Buddha's word, expounding magnificent prayers. Kyabje Zopa, the great Rinpoche, protecting disciples, please live long. And then take a moment to just call to mind all the teachers that you have in your life and have had. Let them come into your mind, and we make this prayer, reciting White Tara's long life mantra, that their lives might be long and fruitful. Om Tare Ture Guru Warrior Punye Gyana Pushtim Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Guru Varyu Punye Gyana Pushtim Kuru Soha. Tare Ture Guru Varyu Punye Gyana Pushtim Kuru Soha. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. And apologies that I didn't have the phone off. Oh my. It's setting a fine example. Anyway, just what happens, isn't it? Okay, so next week will be our last class in this series. I want to bring in the 12 links of dependent origination next week. So I'm going to bring that in, because to understand the importance of sustained awareness, how can we get off this wheel? You know, where do we escape? Where do we step off? How do we create over and over again this dependent arising wheel of life? So we'll talk a little bit about that next week. Okay, good. All right, be well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Elaine.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
See you.